Welcome to Sideline Savants, a fantasy football podcast dedicated to helping you set your lineups, navigate the waiver wire, prepare for bye weeks, strategically plan trades, and ultimately win your matchup. Do you have what it takes to become a sideline savant? And here we are, guys. Welcome. Just came out of week 5, week 6, Revenge of the Sixth coming up here. Guys, it was one heck of a fantasy football weekend. I know I had a rough one, a lot of injuries, a lot of poor performances we had to make up for. So I'm looking forward to rebounding here in week 6. And guys, I'm super excited about this show, man. Not only do I have my man Podcast Smitty, who has been on the show before, guys. Welcome, Shannon. But I am blessed to have my man from the Gridiron Address, Aaron. Welcome to the show. I've been on your show, but I am so glad that you had the time off to jump in here. How are you doing today, man? Thanks for joining me.
Jason, thanks for having me, and I'm doing great. I'm coming off of a fantastic fantasy football weekend. One matchup where I did get a win over the host of Sideline Savants, Jason himself. So riding high off of that, went 5-1 in all 6 of my leagues. So I am doing fantastic.
Yeah. Shannon, how are you doing? Because I know in one of our leagues, I kind of got the best of somebody over here. I'm not going to rub it in a little bit because it was a rough week for me here. He was my one win of the week, but I'll take it. But Shannon, how are you doing today, man?
I was doing fine until the Falcons played.
Woo!
And Drake London just went nuts.
Bananas.
I was winning. I was winning it 2 games. It hurt me. I woke up, went to bed a winner, woke up a loser. So yeah, I was looking forward to telling you that you took a loss, but unfortunately that's not going to happen this time around. Took my first loss in 3 weeks. So yes, you broke my streak.
Yeah, and I'm glad I did because I kind of needed that. And yeah, Drake London had a bananas game. I think he had me victory formation after before halftime. So, guys, sometimes that's fantasy football. You win some, you lose some, you move on to the next week. But that's why we're here, and I'm glad these guys are here too because now I can pit 2 people against each other on here because on Sideline Savants, I've kind of questioned some of my guests. I know Shannon, I've hit him with some questions too, guys, because every once in a while I like to pull out the trivia card. So I'm going to pull this out for both of you. So I want to see who's going to answer first. So my first trivia question, because I got to throw this in here. I'm going to see how smart you guys are. So with his name meaning hero, this running back holds Arizona's state record for all-time leading rusher with 7,036 yards and 114 touchdowns, which still stands today. Who am I?
Ooh, Lord. Yeah, Shannon, you can take that. I'm going to play the age card here and say that I'm at a disadvantage.
Okay, you said Arizona, so is it Cam Scatterbo?
No. Good guess, though. Good guess, though. I like it, but it is not. It is. It is Bijan Robinson, who was on fire Monday night, guys. And that's going to be my first question to all of y'all here is, man, Monday night, Falcons showed up offensively, and that Bill squad, that defense, whoo, if Josh Allen thinks he was going to make the Super Bowl like nice and easy this year, that defense is not helping him out whatsoever. But man, Bijan Robinson with a huge breakout game, and fantasy football owners have been waiting patiently for a game like this from Bijan Robinson for like 2 years. I'm going to put this, since you're new here on the show, Aaron, I'm going to have you go first. So is this Bijan's finally his big breakout game? And will we see more of these types of games? Or is this an aberration, and the Falcons are going to go back to not really using them the way they should use them?
I mean, he was a top 5 fantasy running back last season, so he's been good. Maybe a little bit short of what we were expecting. Currently, he's not getting as many carries as you would expect a player of his quality to get. I'm not entirely sure what they're doing with that. I think this is to be expected, though, because he is incredibly talented, and at some point, Atlanta is going to start using him more. He should be getting more carries, but fantasy football wise, I don't know if I'd expect almost 36 points week in and week out, but you can definitely bank on him to get you dang near 20 on a regular basis.
Right. And these are the kind of numbers I would expect from him. I mean, with all the talk and all the hype that comes along with him, I would expect him to be closer to these numbers. Shannon, I pose you the same question: are we going to see more of this kind of Bijan Robinson moving forward, or is Atlanta going to go kind of revert back to kind of keeping him caged?
I say no. I think Atlanta is really going to unleash him after a game like this with Buffalo, where they won a squad in the AFC that was looked at to go to the Super Bowl this year, and they
Right.
ended up winning. Not only did they win, they won pretty daggum convincingly. So beating them by 10 points, they just beat them up and down the field. I really think right now the light bulb has finally went off with Atlanta, and they're going to start to do this because the NFC South is starting to get a little more competitive now. Of course, Carolina's picked it up a little bit. They have an opportunity to go there to be above 500 this coming week. And
Right.
Atlanta's getting to the point where they're like, hey, we might have something here. And if they don't, then Atlanta really dropped the ball. Everybody needs to be fired. But I
Right.
believe that I think they finally got it. I think they realized, hey, the old school football is returning. The running game is in full effect. We got to do this. And that's going to help out Michael Penix Jr. So I believe that's going to be what they're going to do. I think Atlanta's going to be scary if they keep this up.
And that's what I was expecting in the beginning of the year. I know on a bunch of different shows, I've said Atlanta was going to win the South. In fact, I think I damn near put him in the Super Bowl because that offense was that dynamic. Yes, laugh at me now. I mean, I think I was on something at the time, but Drake London, if Drake London doesn't step out of bounds right before halftime, I think that game is farther out of reach because like the Bills kept it close because of course Josh Allen's Josh Allen, but it was glaring that he is missing a defense and he's missing some offensive weapons. I mean, Cook is great, but man, that run game did not look good on Monday night. And who is going to be their number one? I mean, they just do not have. I like Shakir, but he is not a number one wide receiver, man. I don't know what the Bills are going to do. They're in trouble. But Atlanta, if you guys can play like that, I know the Bills. Ooh, I'm thinking of the Bills. I know Baker Mayfield got them Bucks hot right now, but they've had some injuries. If they slide at all, watch out for Atlanta, man. That was a crazy, crazy game. But fantasy football wise, yes, thank you, Drake London, for getting me a win this week. I really needed that. Yeah, I know. But it doesn't happen every week, so I'll take it. So, but all right. I kind of bombed you on this first question. I'm going to try on the second question here. So, Aaron, all my questions are going to be modern, guys. So don't think I'm going too far back into the vault here. I'm not going to hit you like that.
So what you're saying is I can't play the age card then?
No, there's no age. No. I got you guys lapped, but no age card. So, question number 2. Nicknamed Houdini as a child, this two-sport high school star chose his love of football and led his school to a state championship his junior year. Who am I? Aaron, who do you got?
Kyler Murray?
No. You got to guess, Smitty.
Man. I'm totally off of this, but Lad McConkey.
No, but good guess though. I appreciate that. It's my boy. I got to throw in there Cam Scatterboo.
See, that's the one I got. Man, I got it flipped.
You had it flipped. You had it flipped. Yeah, but his mama nicknamed Houdini when he was a kid because he used to break out of his car seat. So imagine trying to strap that kid into a freaking car seat. I mean, that does not surprise me at all. Especially because he likes to run headfirst into telephone poles and defensive backs. They got to get him one of them neck braces though, because I'm really afraid the neck roll, because he's gonna get a stinger one day, and that because he just loves running into people. But Cam Scatterbo is also my fantasy stud of the week, man. Over 31 points. He is turning out to be a heck of a running back, man. He is a lot of fun to watch, and I am really digging. I saw somewhere someone posted online that Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterbo, they're nicknaming him Arm and Hammer. So, Dart's the arm, you got the hammer right here. So, 31 points, 3 touchdowns. He's my hammer, dude. I love, as a Giants fan, I am excited about this guy. Really bringing some excitement to an otherwise really lackluster season. But fantasy football, he is becoming a guy you have to start. I was really nervous about that, being a rookie. You started off kind of slow, had some okay games, but now I think he's breaking through. And so give me Cam moving forward as a starting RB1. A lot of fun. And, man, he is just a monster. So I love it. So that is my stud of the week. And we'll start with Shannon. Shannon, who is your fantasy stud this week?
Now, this is the part where I say that Jonathan Taylor is going to be my stud runner, even though he had 23 points.
He's still
23.7
still amazing.
Points. I would say that, but this week, no, I'm not. I'm going to say no, because this week, this belongs to a guy that was supposed to be a breakout all season. He's been low. He's been slow. He's had a little bit of slow parts to him right now. Not being looked at as much, but this time around, Lad, the Impaler, Lad McConkey is my stud of the week. 23 points. Very, very good showing. It's about time, Lad. I was scared, man. I was trying to pump life back into you. Justin Herbert was able to do so. The running game, Amari Hampton getting hurt. The passing game was able to be in full swing, and you were there. Although I came up short this week, but Lad, thank you for being a fighter, being Lad the Impaler, Lad McConkey.
I love Lad too, man. And it hurt. Actually, it helped him because Quentin Johnson being hurt, that kind of, took some wind out of that offensive sails. So, but that helps Lad. I think he's an awesome talent. I put him up there with like Steve Largent or Chris Collinsworth, just kind of lanky. I think he can make a lot of plays. And the Chargers need him. That offense is not the same without him. But let's see here. Aaron, I know you got a stud of the week, man. Who you got and who rocked it out for you this week?
Well, George Pickens stepped up big time for me in my big money league. Got a $50 buy-in, and as you see on the screen, 31.8 points. I'm sitting at 5-1 in that league, tied for first, and George Pickens has been huge for me in that league. He's sitting at wide receiver 4 on Sleeper right now, which is phenomenal. In the absence of CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens has filled that role phenomenally. Really shocked.
Let me ask you, Aaron, do you think that will continue even if CD comes back? Do you think he's earned enough cachet with the way he's played to get more targets thrown his way?
Oh, 100%. You can't have a guy perform this well, and then once the star gets back, you just pretend like he hasn't been absolutely electric in CD Lamb's absence. He has 1,000% earned more targets. Yes, it'll be less when CD's back, but Pickens is still going to be a phenomenal flex option and a wide receiver 2 as well for fantasy, I think.
And I agree with that. It hurts my body to say that, being a Cowboy But he has stepped it up. It's amazing. I know they had a little bit of a hiccup against those Panthers, but man, you would expected him coming from Pittsburgh with a lot of the baggage. You would think that baggage would have came with him. He hasn't been crazy perfect, but he's actually been really, really good. He's been able to stay on the field. He hasn't had any flags thrown at him in a long time. So very impressed with Pickens in the way he's been running with that offense, and his his connection with Dak has been really phenomenal, man, especially being new there to that team, to be able to connect the way they do. It impresses me. It hurts me to say that, but it does impress me. So, man, that's our fantasy studs of the week. We'll see who we got next week. But guys, drop me a line. Hit me a comment up. Who was your fantasy stud this week? Who saved your fantasy season over the weekend? Just hit me up and let me know. I'd like to hear from you guys and what you got. So I'm 0 for 2 on the questions. So I got to get you guys rolling. I'm hoping this is a little bit of a layup here. All right, question number 3. This 2022 Offensive Rookie of the Year had 3 consecutive 1,000-yard receiving seasons and was a former 3-sport athlete in high school, playing football, basketball, and track.
Oh, that's Puka. That's not Puka?
No.
What?
No.
I can't wait.
It's a good guess, though. No.
See, I feel like I may have accidentally cheated the system here. Because I have the behind-the-scenes access, and I'm picking up on a pattern. And if my pattern recognition is right, it could be wrong. I'm not saying I'm the brightest person ever. Could it be? Or wait, no. I think I might just be a little. 2022. Is it Garrett Wilson?
2000? Yes.
Congratulations.
Baby, let's go.
We got one.
Let's go.
Garrett Wilson. Good job, Aaron. The new guy got one. So yes, the 2020. And I thought that was kind of crazy too. 2022 Offensive Rookie of the Year. He's had 3 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. I mean, it's hard to think of that because he's a Jet, and the Jets keep jetting. But man, but he is one of a bucket full of wide receivers we had go down this weekend. Guys, Garrett Wilson, knee. It's not serious, but he's going to miss some time. Marvin Harrison Jr., concussion. Not serious, we hope, but going to miss some time. Calvin Ridley, hamstring. Not serious, but going to miss some time. Emeka Egbuka. Oh, that's what killed me. That destroyed my fantasy football weekend. That and Gibbs not doing anything. But Emeka Egbuka, I was looking at the news. It doesn't look like it's a serious hamstring, but gonna miss some time. And then Puka, him. It didn't even look like he fell on his ankle. Again, my anatomy class, in doctorate. I just play a doctor on TV. I'm not a big doctor, but he didn't look like he landed on his ankle. But for some reason, his ankle and his foot, again, not serious, but going to miss some time. So here's my big question, Aaron. I'll start you off with this one. With all these big names going down with no real timetables to return, in your standard leagues, is it time to try to trade one of these guys away and get some capital and get a starting wide receiver for them for the now? Or do you hold on and hope for some waiver wire help?
I think you can hold out and hope for some waiver wire help because the names we're talking about, these are all like quality starters. And with them missing time, I think what you're going to get in return is not going to be significantly better than some of your options on the waiver wire. So yeah, I'm not a fan on selling like high-end guys, especially because maybe they're only out 3 weeks. If you drafted well enough, you should have guys on roster already who you can move up to fill in that spot. But yeah, I mean, these are all really, really good fantasy players, and I don't think it's worth moving them because the return is not going to be significant enough to lose them on your team for the rest of the year.
Gotcha. Shannon, same question. If you had one of these guys on your squad and you needed to win, and that's the tough part about this is if, all right, you know, we're going into week 6. And if you're down in your league, what's that?
I think week 7.
6.
6?
Yep. We just finished week 5, so we're in week 6. So if you go down in your league and you need to win, you can't wait 3 to 4 weeks for these guys to come back. Do you trade, again, Shannon, do you trade one of them away, try to get some good value in return to help you for the now? Or do you hold and hope to get through and get some wins and continue to hold on to them, hope they get back healthy? What's your thoughts on that?
If you are going to sit here and tell me that you are going to trade Puka Nacua or Emeka Mbuka, get out. Go. You're done. Are you serious? Why? Look, if Puka's out for the season, I get it. If Mbuka is out for 6-7 weeks, I get it. Yeah, you're pretty much sunk. But you
Right.
need to tell me you want to trade one of those two guys? I don't think so. No, this is a bad idea. Even Ridley as well too. Harrison Jr. has been a little slow. I get it, but he's had a little trouble with the quarterback position there. You know, Brissett and then Kyler Murray. He's had a little trouble there. Of course, Calvin Ridley. You know, we know the story with him. But these guys can put up points. We know that already. Puka and Emeka having the years that they're having, these seasons that they're having now, absolutely not. No, don't dive into it. I get it. I know you may need a win. I know, but the season's long. We got a little bit of time. And if you trade them now, you'll be looking back later saying, why did you do it? So don't do that. Don't believe the hype. Don't do that. You know, Flavor Flav, Public Enemy. Don't believe the hype. Man, keep them guys right there. You'll be mad in like week 9, week 10 when you really need to win, when it's time for playoffs and we're figuring out and we're sorting out the sheeps from the goats. You gonna be a goat if you do that. Trust me, I'm gonna laugh at you too.
Right. And Aaron, you are right. It is week 7. I don't even know what I was looking at, man. That's how bad I lost last week. I was in the wrong week here. That's how bad I lost last week, guys. I'm in a whole nother week. So yes, we are in week 7 here, but for me, it's tough because I mean, I could see Dynasty. You know, you put those guys, you know, especially if they hit the IR, you have a spot for them. But like in your standard league, if you're 500 or below, if you can get some value for them, I mean, I wouldn't say do it, but I mean, if someone makes you a heck of a trade offer, I'm all about listening because, you know, trade offers, someone may be desperate, someone may have some extra players on their squad. Just don't be opposed to listening to offers, guys. That's all I got to say, because you never know. You may be able to get rid of one of these guys and get you a starting running back or get you somebody that's going to help you now to get you to the playoffs and put you ahead. So interesting to see that dynamic. But, man, what a rough weekend for wide receivers. Man, I hope we don't see that again. I hope all these guys come back healthy, especially Mbuka, because, man, I really need you, Mbuka. It hurt my fantasy this weekend. That was terrible. Terrible. But, guys, we had some great performances over the weekend. Monday night we had some great performances. Sunday, some off the chain performances there. Taylor, those Colts look great. Warren, for the Colts tight end looks amazing. So a lot of really, really positive numbers coming out of fantasy football. But we also had some horrible performances this weekend. And I'm a little bit old school, guys. And I don't know if anybody out there knows Third Base, the hip-hop group. They did a song called The Gas Face. So, guys, you do something wrong, you get the gas face. We had some horrible performances this weekend. I'm going to name a couple of them. My performances that get the gas face this weekend. Justin Fields. That New York Jets team gets the gas face because That team looks absolutely atrocious. They're lost. I've never seen a football team look like they just don't know what they're doing. From the coaching staff all the way down, Garrett Wilson calling you out on the sideline there too. Yeah, that team horrendous performance. You know, they were playing in Europe. When you have European football people where American football is like their third language over there, where they're looking at you going, what the hell are you guys doing? You're not clock managing. You look terrible. So Justin Fields, the Jets coaching staff, you get the gas face. Terrible, terrible. I'm also going to throw in there because I was really excited about this guy. I thought he was going to have such a better performance this weekend. But Cam Ward, coming off a nice victory, I was thinking, man, number 1 draft pick, he's got to get it. He's got to move forward. Nope. This weekend, terrible performance. That offense looks abysmal. So bad that it got their coach fired, which is I'm surprised with all the bad teams that are out there, i.e., the Dolphins, the Jets. Who else are we going to throw in there? Let's throw in, man. I'm trying to think. There's the Raiders. So I mean, there's some horrible teams out there. The Fins. To have Tennessee's coach fired first was interesting, but Cam Ward, you get the gas face this week, man. Terrible performance, terrible fantasy football performance. Now Calvin Ridley's hurt, so that's going to make that team even worse. No run game. So anybody that plays offensively for the Tennessee Titans, guys, I would be very reluctant on starting them. So we'll jump over to you, Mr. Smitty. Who are your poor performances, gas face for the week?
First of all, shout out to the gas face, of course, man. I thought I was the only one that remembered that song from Third Base. That's awesome. I love that. But I guess we're staying on the quarterbacks right here because my gas face is going to go to Matthew Stafford.
Ooh.
I was very, very disappointed. And this is what I get once again, the NFC West. This is what I get. I need to just be fervently against the NFC West. He only put up 9 points. Like, I was very, very surprised with how the lack thereof in this game. I'm like, why? I mean, it really got me how the Rams played. I mean, how he played with the weapons that he has. I know Puka went down. I get it, but I've been somebody who was claiming that Matthew Stafford is still slept on. But against the Baltimore defense that, once again, couldn't stop a tricycle, just not a good defense. I mean, I figured that he was going to light him up. I know Puka got hurt once again. I get it, but Devontae Adams was there. He still has some support in the running game. He can still get it done passing-wise. So that tells you that maybe Puka is in the conversation for best receiver in the game. Maybe he is carrying Matthew Stafford alone. He might be. And also, too, staying with the quarterback position, my gas face also goes to Jordan Love.
Ooh.
Really? Cincinnati. I mean, Josh Jacobs ran all over the place. Now, I get that. He ran all over the place. Josh Jacobs beat the tar out of the Cincinnati Bengals. I get it, but I figured at least he would get a few licks in there, But once again, under 20 points, as a matter of fact. It was under 20 points. It was kind of this type of game in a squad that I figured was just going to run it up on the Cincinnati Bengals because their defense is not good at all. Like, once again, pay 3 players. One of those guys is hurt for a while, and the other 2 can't get a ball thrown to them that's catchable. And then their defense is hung out to dry. I figured that they'd kill them. And they won, which is great, but still, just no real production from Jordan Love, who is considered one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL. Maybe, maybe not, but he's in that conversation week in and week out, and he couldn't put that much points up against the Cincinnati Bengals. I beg to differ. That's my gas face.
I love it. Aaron, who are your poor, weak performances? Who gets the gas face on your end there?
Well, like I said before, I did have a good week of fantasy football. 6 leagues, went 5-1, so in a pretty good spot. But
Okay.
still, I'm going to keep rubbing that in just a little bit.
Please.
Sprinkle that in throughout the show. But
Yeah, it feels good.
yeah, the first player who almost cost me a game, I ended up only winning by 0.14 points in that league. Michael Pittman Jr. putting up 4 points. That dang near cost me that game. I was second to last in that dynasty league last year, and I do not want to be in the toilet bowl again. Sitting at 4-2 right now. So, shout out Cam Scadaboo for 31 points. He definitely won me that game. Then I also got Cortland Sutton 2.7. That was a rough one. I was expecting a lot more out of him. Broncos offense has been a little bizarre this season. I was expecting to see an uptick, but that has not happened. And then the Packers defense. Joe Flacco.
Wow, calling out the defense.
Yeah, I got beef with them too. Again, I still won that game, but putting up 2 points, not happy with that. And then the one game I lost, Jason, Shannon, came down to Falcons-Bills last night. I had Matt Prater. I needed 4 points to win. You want to know how many points he put up?
3.
Put up 2 points.
Oh, 2. That's right. Yeah.
Put up 2 points, and I lost. So, yeah. Matt Prater, you get the gas face.
I love it. Let's gas face the punt of the kicker. I love it. Field goal kicker, you get the gas face.
Love it.
Yeah, man, called out the defense and a kicker. I love having you on here. Thank you, Aaron. That was awesome, man. Fantastic. And that's our gas faces for the weekend. Yeah, there was definitely some lackluster performances. I was really disappointed Monday night in Rome Odunze. He really just did not have any kind of game. He was another stud wide receiver in my corral that did absolutely nothing. So Emeka Mbuka going down and Rome Odunze doing absolutely nothing. Just put the nail right in my fantasy football weekend coffin. I think that's probably why I wanted to go back to week 6, because I won pretty good in week 6. So I wasn't thinking about that. So terrible. But we're hoping. So guys, out of the guys you talked about, give me one that will redeem himself this week. Smitty, give me your one this week who will redeem themselves.
Let me, because I think I have 2 that will redeem themselves. I think that Jordan Love will. I think that he will. I think Jordan Love will redeem himself this week. No. Yeah, they already had their bye. I'm gonna go with Jordan Love on that one. Sorry about that.
Okay.
And I want to still have faith in Pittman Jr. I'm a little worried with him as well too. I think that running game with Indianapolis is handling biz.
Right.
I'll stick with Pittman Jr. I think he will. I think that Danny Dimes and them is going to handle biz. Indiana Jones. Sorry about that. It's not Danny Dimes anymore. It's Indiana Jones. I'm going to stay.
Danny Dimes is dead.
Jones. I'm going to stay with it. I think that's dope. I like that. It fits him.
Yeah.
But I think that Pittman Jr. will get back into his groove, get into his bag as well to let Indiana Jones throw the ball. I think he'll get back into it. So yes, give me Pittman Jr. Give me Jordan Love, because he's got to be the understudy for Lamar Jackson, who is still hurt. So give me those guys.
Okay. Aaron, who do you have that out of the guys that you just blasted, who do you think can redeem themselves next week?
I like Cortland Sutton to bounce back against the Giants this week. I think that's a really good shout. On ESPN, Giants have given up the 3rd most points to opposing wide receivers, I believe. So that's a really favorable matchup for Sutton. And I'm trying to remember who the Packers have, but
Arizona.
I mean, Arizona. I think the Packers have the potential for a bounce back, especially with Brissett, if he's still starting there. He's not the most consistent. I think they'll be able to force a few turnovers and after the quarterback a little bit more because Brissett is not anywhere near as mobile as Kyler Murray.
No.
Do you
No
love
one
the
runs
Packers?
around like Kyler Murray.
No. Yeah, Sutton and the Packers, I think they both have a really strong chance at bouncing back.
Well, I'm glad you guys had somebody because I have nobody. All right, the Jets are not bouncing back. They are going defeated this season. That team is absolutely horrible. They're going to get the gas face from now until the end of the season. You got a coach there that looks like he's got a deer in the headlights. I don't even know what man is doing. He looks terrible. He needs to stop wearing the capris, put some pants on, and get out there and learn how to call a timeout, learn how to clock manage. And I'm sorry, but them Titans look terrible too. So, yeah, thank you guys for having somebody, but I have no faith in any of the guys that I'm blasting. I do have faith in Roma Dunze. I think he is going to bounce back, so I'll give him some props if I had to give somebody props. But, man, watching the Jets is painful. Oh, absolute pain, especially if you have Breece Hall on your squad. You're just, like, waiting for him to bounce and have, like, one of those Breece Hall games. It's hard to see that ever happening. So that may be another trade you may have to make happen, guys. If you got Breece Hall, you may look at kind of either trading up or maybe trading down and getting some draft picks if you're in a dynasty league, because that Jets offense is atrocious and clueless. It's crazy. Like, don't these guys even play Madden? Something. I mean, even Madden guys know how to. Like, I'm sitting on the couch. I know how to call a timeout. Like, you're sitting there in the game. Anyway, I can't get on that no more because it don't made me angry. Breece Hall, I got him in one of my leagues. He made me angry this weekend. So, all right. Well, I got another question. So my man Aaron got one last time. Let's see what you can do, Mr. Smitty. Signed as an undrafted free agent in 2020. This dual threat quarterback in high school was named All WNC Player of the Year as a senior.
That got drafted, so it can't be him.
Oh, come on, guys. This is in your neighborhood. It's in the hood.
I know. It's.
I ain't embarrassing myself no more. I ain't saying a word.
Hmm.
I done got 3 wrong. I ain't doing that.
This might be a dud again, Jason. I am stumped. I should have studied up.
Yeah.
Uncle Rico Dowdle
Rico Dowdle
was a dual threat QB, undrafted free. He was All WNC Western North Carolina Player of the Year as a senior.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah,
that's in your neighborhood.
It's in your hood.
I was thinking that. I was thinking that. I'm like, man, that WNC, someone's going to pick up on that because you guys are the North Carolina guys. Oh my goodness. I mean to hurt you guys like that. So, but my man, Uncle Rico, and another phenomenal performance, man. Over 33 points, back-to-back 30-point games, standing in for one Mr. Chuba Hubbard. So I'm pitting you two against each other right now because I'm going to step away and I'm going to have you guys duke this out. So I'm going to pose a question to each one of you guys. I'm staying out of it, but I want to know an answer from each one of you. So my first question, we'll start off with you, Aaron. Rico versus Chuba. Who is now the number one running back with the Panthers?
This is really tough because starters shouldn't really lose their job because they get hurt. But when your backup comes in and plays like Rico Dowdle has, he's made it almost impossible to bench him. The Panthers' offense has looked, I don't want to say explosive, but they have been incredibly effective. They've been efficient. Dowdle has been lights out running the ball these last 2 weeks. I'm going to say it's a 1A, 1B type of situation. I would give Dowdle the 1A because he's just been more explosive than Hubbard was before he got hurt. And I'm honestly surprised that Dowdle wasn't getting more touches earlier in the season. Yeah, I'm giving number one nod to Dowdle, but it's close because, man, you got to give Hubbard props for just how good he was last season, and he's still going to get a lot of carries when he's back.
Shannon, are you riding a hot hand, or do you give it back to Mr. Hubbard? No 1A, 1B. I want to know who gets the number one. You start and you get the ball. Who you got?
Now listen, y'all know it's Bang Bang Niner gang with me in North Carolina still, but I cover these Carolina Panthers. But do we have to have this discussion? Do y'all not know the history of the Carolina Panthers? Double trouble, thunder and lightning. Do you have to have this question? Who cares? Really? Who cares? Give them both the ball. This is why I say this, because Bryce is going to help him a lot more for the running game to be first. It's going to help them. It's going to get his feet underneath him. He doesn't have to do it all by himself. He doesn't have to face first and 15 and second and 20 and all that to have to really rely on him throwing the football down the field. Please stop this. I've had enough of this. They don't ask this question in Detroit. They don't ask this question anywhere else, but ask the question to Carolina. That's the dumbest thing in the world. Give them both the ball. Let them handle this offense here, and let Bryce run the play action pass. Let him roll out. Let him throw it to Ted. Let them scare these defenses here. I don't want to hear this question. Dumb. Don't ask me this question. Give them both the ball.
I love it.
Like that.
I got to ask the question because history has shown that the Panthers. Right now Detroit is the one of the few teams that knows how to run a dual running back offense. I'd like to see if the Panthers can get out of their own way and do the same thing.
It works. Dual running backs
We'll see, but you got to know what you're doing. So is that offensive coordinator? Is that coaching staff? Are those guys ready for that? Is Hubbard ready to share the rock? You get a lot of number one guys that aren't ready to share the rock, so it'll be interesting to see. I like riding a hot hand. Rico Dowdle right now is a man possessed to have 200 plus yards from scrimmage and back-to-back games is ridiculous. Next question for you guys. Shannon, I'll start with you since I got a little fire going on in your belly now. I like it. Mahomes versus Prescott. Who is the best fantasy quarterback as of right now?
As of right now, still is Bang Bang Niner gang, and I can't stand them daggum Cowboys, but Dizzy Dak Prescott is killing it right now.
Really?
I got to give credit where credit is due. And the reason why I'm saying that, don't look at me like that, Aaron. Stop. Don't look at me like that. No. Here's why. Because it's not wins. It's fantasy. And right now, Dak is hurting it in fantasy because he has the second guy in George Pickens right now. That is the first guy impersonating as the first guy. He's got a very good tight end. There's a running game back there in the backfield with Javonte right now. I think that Dak is going to manufacture points over wins. Give me Dak Prescott.
Aaron, what do you got to say about that?
Well, it's Patrick Mahomes. I mean, he's averaging more fantasy points per game than Dak Prescott right now by a little bit over 4, if I remember correctly. And Shannon, you mentioned that Dallas has the running game going. The Chiefs don't, so they're going to be passing the ball more, which means that Mahomes is going to have more opportunities to put up fantasy points. Rashee Rice is coming back. That is only going to help the Chiefs passing game. Mahomes is QB1 in fantasy right now, and I think he's going to continue to be QB1 for the rest of the season.
But interesting question. Both having some really, really good seasons. But yeah, I got to give the nod. to Mahomes. He killed me this weekend. I was going against him in one of my other leagues. And, man, he made the Detroit Lions defense look horrible. So, Dak, get through the season healthy. Let's see if he can do that first. Interesting. But both putting up very, very good cases, both in the mix for MVP too. We got to throw that out there. All right, Jackson Smith and Jigba. Man, he has no doubts about stepping into that number one position with DK Metcalf now in Pennsylvania. Was DK Metcalf holding Jackson Smith and Jigba back last year? Now that he's gone, Is that the reason why? So, Aaron, is the reason why JSN is blowing up is because he doesn't have to compete with DK this year?
I mean, yeah, that's 100% the reason. JSN, he had all the talent in the world to do this last season. But when you have another talented receiver on your team in DK Metcalf, you're not going to get the target share you need to put up these kinds of stats, these kinds of fantasy points. I'm not too surprised that Smith and Jigba's popping off like he is, because I was super high on him when he was getting drafted. And yeah, I'm not surprised, but it was definitely because he had to split targets with DK Metcalf. And I'm really happy to see him finally breaking out like I expected him to.
Mr. Shannon, what are your thoughts on that?
I hate him. I do. But I don't want to say necessarily he was holding him back. I think it's more along the lines of maybe they didn't know what he would do, as in JSN. I don't think they knew what he could do until they gave him the one role. I feel like, DK was kind of like distancing himself from the team last year, and JSN kind of stood into that, even with Geno Smith, the quarterback. I think now they're seeing what they got in him. I think they were more along the lines of, hey, we can let go with DK and we can let this guy go into his spot. I think this was more of a trial and error, and it's doing great. I got to give credit where credit's due. I don't think he was holding him back. I think it was more along the lines of, let's see what he can do. And they were high on him. They were high on him in the offseason the year before DK left.
Right.
And so it's more of a, okay, we know what we have. We think we know what we have. But now that they found ways to plug him into this offense and use him correctly, which I think that's what they're doing. They gave him a gunslinger of a quarterback with Sam Darnold, which is another thing. So they paired him with the right guy. Not saying that Geno wasn't the right guy. Not saying Geno was a bad quarterback, but maybe Geno wasn't what they wanted, and Sam Darnold was. And now Sam Darnold has a chance to show what he can do yet again with another team, and show that last year was not a hoax.
Right.
And that this year could be a lot better. So, hey, I think it was more along the lines of, hey, we're going to find out this year. And they're finding out right now, and I think they're like, yeah, you made the right move.
And they definitely did, because JSN is on fire right now. I went against him in another one of my leagues this week, and needless to say, I got destroyed. But I think there was a little holding back, because, when you have Big Brother there on the other sideline, that does take away from him. But he has definitely stepped up and stepped into that number one role. All right, next question. With Brock Bowers out, Warren for the Colts has just really emerged. Man, they use him all over the field. I've seen him, down in the red zone. They use him as a running back. Is he now the next Brock Bowers? Is Tyler Warren going to blow up like that now that Mr. Bowers is out, his rookie season? Is this the next Brock Bowers? Let's go, Mr. Aaron. Who do you got?
He is playing phenomenally well. I don't want to throw around the next Brock Bowers too early. Warren is phenomenally talented. I feel like people can tend to rush into trying to label somebody the next big thing once we see something great happen. Warren is having a phenomenal season. I believe he will continue to have a phenomenal season because he's the number one threat outside of Jonathan Taylor for that Colts offense. Absolutely electric player. I don't know if he's going to be the next Brock Bowers, though, because we just witnessed an absolutely insane rookie season for a tight end, and that's going to be really, really hard to replicate. Warren might be able to do it, but I don't want to throw that kind of label around, because that if Warren doesn't meet that level of expectation, then we can't appreciate the great season that he's going to have, because he's failing to meet these lofty expectations that are being set. So because of that, I'm not going to say he's the next Brock Bowers, because that'll just make it harder to appreciate the phenomenal season that he is having.
Well, I'm crowning him Mr. Smitty, what are your thoughts on Mr. Warren becoming the best? I would say the best tight end in the league right now.
Is he the next Brock Bauer? Is he the next George Kittle? If you ask me, I think he is like. I think this kid is good. I like him. Big size, big and strong kid. 6'6", 256 pounds, out of Penn State. Played in a meat and potatoes conference in the Big Ten. I like him. I think he is. I think he's real. I think he is what he is because once again, we were talking about it. Where are those tight ends that were 1,000-yard receivers? Where when the tight end was a bucket in fantasy football, I think right now he's a bucket and he does so many things very well. He's a pretty good blocker at his position, as you can see with the running game, and he's a great safety valve for Indiana Jones. He can stretch the field a little bit with his length at 6'6". I think this kid is gold. I think that they really, really found a very, very good tight end. I think he's got to be the best tight end in this draft, I believe. Best room to grow. Great opportunity in Indianapolis. Just I hope that they hold on to what they have coaching wise and foster this kid. I think that Indiana Jones might have had his second childhood right now. He might have found his home, maybe. But as of right now, he's an integral piece. I think that Warren is an integral piece. Dangerous in the red zone. This kid's going to be, I think he reminds me a lot of George Kittle every time I see him play.
Yeah. And next year, I believe Warren is going to be the first tight end taken in everybody's picks. I mean, I think, Brock Bowers is up there, but the way they utilize Warren, they put him all over the field. He's not just a tight end. Like I said, I've seen him do running back stuff. He's played wide receiver. I mean, he's all over the place. He's a great blocker. Tyler Warren will be the first tight end off the board in next year's draft for everybody, man. He is having an unbelievable season. And yes, Daniel Jones, Indiana Jones, he left New York, went to the witness relocation program, changed his name. Now he's having a phenomenal season. He's in the mix for MVP, which is bananas to think about. So you go from the garbage heap to all of a sudden first place. So, great redemption story. All right. Last question. I got one more question. Let's see if we can make up for this one here. Born in Washington, D.C., this Heisman Trophy winning quarterback was sacked 68 times his rookie season, but still was able to break team rookie records for completions, passing yards, and touchdowns. What you got, Aaron?
Is it Caleb Williams?
Yes, it is. It is the baby bear, Mr. Caleb Williams, Flame D'Amour. I don't have any fingernail polish on, but we'll get on there. So, Caleb Williams, a little over 19 points on Monday night. Again, I was a little disappointed. I think he could have carved that Commanders defense a little bit more, but still a good win for them. And I'm hoping he bounces back and gets my man O'Dunes the ball a little bit better. But we're going to jump into what everybody wants to know, because now we're going into this week here, week 7, pivotal week for a lot of teams in fantasy football trying to kind of make their way and to solidify a playoff spot. So we'll start off with Aaron. You're the new guest on the show. I appreciate you being here. But who are you starting this week?
First off, at quarterback, I'm going Drake May against the Titans. He has been phenomenal in year 2. I think he's QB2 on ESPN right now. Phenomenally improved as a passer. He's not running the ball as much as I expected him to, but that is something he has in his back pocket. Right. He does have good dual threat ability. He's been phenomenal. At the running back position, got Quinshon Judkins against the Dolphins. That Dolphins defense is just bad. Judkins had an off week this past week, and this is the perfect opportunity for him to bounce back against a really, really weak Dolphins team. At wide receiver, I have DK Metcalf against the Bengals. Metcalf has been really consistent for the Steelers all season. And as we all know, that Bengals defense is atrocious. Another good opportunity for Metcalf to put up some points. And then at tight end, Jason, this also doubles as one of my sleepers.
Really?
We all know that the Buccaneers wide receiver room is really banged up. Egbuka, he's going to miss some time. Evans and Godwin feels like they're both perpetually banged up. I think a player who can really step up and be a good weapon for Baker Mayfield is Cade Otton. Yes, he's going against Detroit, but as we've seen last week, even with his top 4 wide receivers gone, Baker still had some guys who can step up there. And another guy who I fully forgot to mention earlier, sorry to double back a little bit, Jason, but
no, you're fine.
Sterling Shepard for Tampa Bay. Rostered at 14.6%. I think he could step into a pretty solid role in that Buccaneers offense as well. Really like Otton as a sleeper, and if you need a waiver pickup, if your tight end's on bye, I think Cade Otton is a really, really good shout.
I like those, man. Solid picks. Yeah, Otton, I think, is a little underappreciated, and Baker's going to need a safety valve. He can run, but he's not a big running quarterback, so he needs to get the ball to somebody. And Otton, I think, is a reliable target there. And I think Quinshon Judkins, I like that pick too. I think this is the game that the Browns win, and that's going to get Mike McDaniels fired. So I think McDaniels next week is canned because they get destroyed by the Cleveland Browns. So Miami, I think it's MIA for my man McDaniels there. So Smitty, who you starting this week?
All right. So, of course, the maestro himself, Patrick Mahomes, start him against the Las Vegas Raiders. It is a division game. This is going to be fun. I think the Raiders are going to try to throw everything they can at Pat Mahomes, and it's not going to work because Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes. And at the running game, the running back position, Jaylen Warren versus the Cincinnati Bengals. I think he'll run amok. Cincinnati, once again, we know their defense not that great. Can't stop a tricycle. Can't stop the running game either. That's another thing. So Jaylen Warren, fresh legs, let him run against the Cincinnati Bengals. And Cortland Sutton, Aaron said that Cortland Sutton might have a bounce back week. I think he will against the New York Football Giants. So let him do his thing at the receiver position against the New York Football Giants. And Tucker Kraft versus the Arizona Cardinals. I was a little harsh on Jordan Love, but I think he will redeem it. I think Tucker Kraft is another tight end that is slept on. Very, very good at the tight end position. Very good safety valve for Jordan Love. These are the guys you should start for week 7. Lucky 7.
I like it. Tucker Kraft is game for a 3-touchdown. I think he's one of those 3-touchdown performances. He hasn't had one in a while, so I think he's due for one. And I really like Warren. I think that he opens up that offense for Aaron Rodgers, and you saw that last week with how DK broke out. And I think with him running the football, they're going to run all over the Bengals. That's just going to be an ugly, ugly game. So let me give you guys mine right now. QB, I'm starting Caleb Williams. I think the baby bear against the Saints is going to have a pretty good performance. Again, just a decent performance against the Commanders. Commanders, pretty good defense. I know the Saints are okay defense, but I think the Bears are going to have a passing game against them because I don't think it's going to be much of a run game. I think it's going to be a lot of passing in that Saints game because I know the Saints have been throwing the ball a lot. So I think the Bears are going to do the same. And running back, we're good. We're digging deep. Ja'Cory Crosley Merritt, Bill, I believe he's called, versus the Dallas Cowboys. That Dallas Cowboys run defense is atrocious. You saw what Dowdle did against them. So Bill is going to run amok on that Cowboys secondary. So I really like him against that defense. And then I'm going Stephon Diggs. You talked about Drake May, man. Drake May is becoming a superstar right before our face. He is a phenomenal talent, man. I kind of didn't really expect too much from him this year, still being really new, but man, he has stepped into that position. He has made being a wide receiver on that team very, very lucrative. So I think Stephon Diggs against that Tennessee Titans defense, which is atrocious, I think he's going to have a huge, huge game. And tight end TJ Hawkinson against those Philadelphia Phillies. I'm sorry, Philadelphia Eagles. I'm thinking of baseball because, the Phillies just got whooped up too in the playoffs. So, right now those Eagles are playing just as bad. I don't know what's going on there. I guess the Fire Sirianni chants aren't loud enough. That's what got them going last year. So let's start those chants again. Maybe that team will wake up. I know AJ Brown wants to leave. Saquon Barkley. Is it the Madden curse? What's going on with him? He's not running the football at all this week. I have him also in one of my fantasy teams. Did absolutely nothing. So, man. But TJ, I like him going against that Philly defense for tight end. So those are my starts. And, of course, with the starts, we got guys that we just don't want to touch, that we want to just sit them in the corner and just like, hey, be quiet. So, Mr. Shannon, who is Shannon putting in the corner this weekend?
I'm going to go ahead and start with the NFC West. Do not play Matthew Stafford against Jacksonville. Reason being is because Jacksonville's pass rush actually not that bad. They have a pretty good pass rush. I think that with Puka, with the injury, is going to be a little difficult for the Rams in this game playing the Jacksonville Jaguars, who don't have a bad defense at all. So
Right.
Do not play Matthew Stafford this week. And yes, Jason, let me go ahead and get that gas face from you right now. Do not play Cam Scatterboo against the Denver Broncos.
What?
Don't play him. No, because Denver's defense definitely not that bad. I am looking at Jackson Dart to throw the ball a little more in this game. I am. I love Cam. I really do. I think the return of the running back is wonderful, and the dual running back offense is coming back. I love it. Bring it back. But sit Cam this week because Denver is going to be tough. And no, it's not because Denver's offense. I don't really believe in Bo that much. Yes, I said it. I don't really believe in Bo that much. I don't.
Shots fired.
I don't. I like Bo's not bad. But I think that they gassed him up a little too much. I think they did. He would have been offensive rookie of the year if Jalen Daniels did not exist. No, he wouldn't have. I don't want to hear it. And then year two, he's going to contend for the AFC West. As long as Patrick Mahomes is upright walking, forget about it. So don't play Cam against Denver because I think Denver might show up a little more on defense. Jalen Waddle against Cleveland. Do not. Cleveland's defense, their defense is tough. Even though Dylan Gabriel is upstart. And I think he's playing pretty good at the quarterback position for what he's given. I think Cleveland's defense might supplement. I think they will supplement very well against Miami. And yeah, I'm kind of in agreement with you right here, Jason. I think McDaniels is gonna, after this week, I think he is. And that's why I say don't play Darren Waller against Cleveland either. Don't play him either. He had his couple games, and then after that, that was it. I don't know. I don't see it with Cleveland's defense. Don't play these guys. Sit them this week.
Man, you done threw my boy Boo under the bus. I know that Denver defense is strong, but man, you have the hammer coming. So we'll see about that. But yeah, Darren Waller, I think this is his injury game. He plays like 2-3 games, has some good games, and then something blows. So I think Waller gets a flat tire this weekend. But Aaron, who are you staying away from? Who are you sitting this weekend?
At quarterback, this one feels like a bit of an obvious one, but because he's a good runner, he's got the potential there. And so with fantasy football, people get really intrigued with dual threat quarterbacks. I've got Justin Fields. I heard people talking about him, how he's a good fantasy football quarterback. No. bad. Jets are bad. Sit everybody on the Jets. Don't bother playing them. And also the Carolina defense has been good. They're minimizing the run, and you take away the run from Justin Fields, and you cannot count on him as a passer to get it done. So got to sit him against Carolina. And at wide receiver, I've got A.J. Brown. You cannot bank on that Eagles offense to be consistent enough to really start just about anybody.
Crazy.
And it's just been a disappointing season for A.J. Brown, both in actual football and fantasy-wise. It has not been good whatsoever. At running back, Travis Etienne going up against a stout Rams defense. He let me down a little bit this past week. Not enough to be one of my gas phase players, but definitely that. And I don't think this is going to be a bounce back week for him. And Jason, this is where things get a little bit interesting. At the tight end position, T.J. Hawkinson. The Vikings quarterback situation is not great. McCarthy might be back, but even if he's back, you can't bank on him. And the Eagles are giving up the third fewest points in fantasy football to opposing tight ends. Combine that with a questionable quarterback situation, that is not a recipe that you want for a player in your starting fantasy lineup.
Well, we'll have to see how that irons out here. So I like that. Shots fired. I'm starting a guy. You're sitting the same guy. Okay, we'll see who is correct. I think whoever quarterbacks that Vikings team is going to need a safety valve, and Hawkinson is one of the better tight ends that the Philadelphia Eagles have played against. So we'll see, man. I appreciate that, but it's going to be interesting to watch that dynamic this weekend. So I'll be sure to be texting you, and I hope you do the same. Depending on how that irons out here. So who am I putting on the corner? Who am I sitting? Well, first I'm going to go quarterback Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, that Vikings defense is better than average. That Philadelphia team is reeling a little bit. They're just not cohesive. They're not playing as a unit. There's grumblings. Man, I don't like it. The 5 different tush pushes there down at the goal line, which everybody was beating up this weekend. This is why we don't like the tush push, because they just kept doing it over and over again. So Jalen Hurts has not been a good quarterback this year, man. And it is hurting. It's hurting fantasy football for him. The only thing that helps him is when they get down to the 1 yard line, he falls over and gets a touchdown. But I don't even think they're going to get that close this weekend. I think that Vikings team smells some birdie blood in the water. And I think that Jalen Hurts has his worst game of the season this weekend. Running back, I'm sitting Ashton Genty. I know he's been on a little bit of a streak here lately. He done changed the stance. He stands back there now, gets the football like old school style, standing up straight. But look, that Chiefs defense held Sonic and Knuckles, held Gibbs to 65 yards, only a little over 7 fantasy points, held Montgomery to 24, and some pass catches to about 8 fantasy points. So that Chiefs defense, if they can shut down those 2 guys, that horrific Raiders offense going against the Chiefs, where the Chiefs are going to be throwing the ball all over them. And so they're going to abandon the run fairly quickly. So I do not like Ashton Genty going against the Chiefs this weekend. You talked about him earlier. I talked about him just now. A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown against those Vikings. I think he is disgruntled. I think he is 1 game away from really forcing the Eagles' hand to trade him. I have a feeling this is going to be that kind of game where the Purple People Eaters are going to show up and take the birds out, and that A.J. Brown, after the game, is going to be like, dude, get me out of here. I'm done. So that's going to be interesting to see how this boils over, and if the Eagles don't perform well, it's going to get ugly there in Philly. But I do not like A.J. Brown right now. He has been lackluster this year, and I know I got to beat him up. He's one of my boys, but Theo Johnson against the Denver Broncos. I like Scatterbo against them, but I don't like the tight end against them. Theo has been stepping up for us. It has had some good games, but I think that Denver Broncos defense, especially that secondary, is going to shut him down. That passing game, I still got a lot of questions there in New York with who they're going to get the ball to, who's going to be their number one now that Neighbors is down. So I am sitting Theo Johnson here this weekend. So, guys, those are our starts and sits. I appreciate you guys giving me that. So, it's been a pretty long show. Getting a little tired. It's time to sleep. To sleep is the dream we all dream about. Fantasy points and winning. So don't sleep on certain guys. Mr. Smitty, hey Shannon, who shouldn't we sleep on this weekend?
Bashed an NFC West quarterback, so I'm going to uplift one. Sam Darnold versus the Houston Texans.
I like that.
Sam Darnold has been, him and Baker had that battle, that gunslinger, that showdown at the OK Corral. What a great showing it was. I think Sam Darnold is showing people that he can actually pick apart the defense. And I think Houston's going to be next on the menu, especially with JSN handling biz. I think Sam is going to be throwing the ball a little bit against this Houston offense. Like, the Houston offense has been kind of slow. So the defense might be on the field a little longer, and that might give Sam Darnold a chance to carve him up one good time at the quarterback position. Rashid White against the Detroit Lions. I think Rashid White, he did pretty well last week. I think that this Tampa Bay offense, even with the injuries that they're having, they're pulling guys out there and saying, hey, handle biz. And everybody they're pulling out there is just handling biz. So Rashid White was one of those guys last week that did that. So play him against Detroit. He'll be a sleeper. Hollywood Brown against the Las Vegas Raiders.
Wow.
I think Hollywood is the one. He's got to be the one guy until Rice comes back. And Hollywood, he's a good receiver. I just think that, they're plugging him in, Worthy, getting him in there. I think that Hollywood Brown will step up and have a good game like he did last week, especially with this Las Vegas Raiders team that is kind of it's hard to watch him, especially on defense. And I think Patrick Mahomes is going to have a field day with that defense. And don't laugh, Tommy Tremble versus the New York Jets. I think that he will be an underneath guy for Bryce Young. I think he will. They might be focusing on Tedoror McMillan, a name I love to say. I think they'll focus on him a little more. I think they're a little afraid of that running game a little bit as well, too. Which guy they're going to throw at you? Are they going to throw Chuba at you? Is Uncle Rico going to have 300 yards in the game? Are they worried about that against the Jets?
So he's got a chance.
So Tommy Tremble
he's
might
got a
just be one of
chance.
those guys that's like, hey, throw me the ball and get 2 touchdowns out of nowhere. You might just see that. So, yes, those are my sleepers. So don't go to sleep on them.
I love it. Tommy Tremble pulling it out, man. That's where we get here first. And I can see him in snagging some stuff, especially against those Jets. Aaron, who are we not to sleep on this weekend?
Well, I mentioned one of the guys earlier, Kate Otten, so I won't go into that too much more. I got another tight end who is only rostered in 29% of ESPN fantasy leagues. That is Harold Fannin Jr.
I
of
like
the
him.
Browns. They have an incredibly favorable matchup against the Dolphins, and I think Fannin is tight end 10 right now, and that's competing with David Njoku as well.
Right.
Absolutely a sleeper. I'm shocked that he's only rostered on 29% of teams. And Jason, you said earlier, the Saints have been passing the ball a lot lately, and a significant beneficiary of that is Rashid Shaheed. I think he is another sleeper. Bears defense is all right. Maybe they're getting it together a little bit. Spencer Rattler, he's been solid. Feels weird giving props to a Saints player. Makes me feel a little bit icky. But yeah, Shaheed.
I was waiting for that. I love it. I was waiting for that. I'm like, Aaron's talking good about a Saints player? Man, I don't know. I thought I was in another zone or something here. Something's going on. But those are some great picks, man. Yeah, Fanning, I like him. I think he's going to end up being a little bit better than Njoku because he's a little more consistent. Njoku still gets hurt. So I like that. And yeah, Shaheed. Yeah, Spencer Rattler, of course, he beat the Giants Lost to the Saints. We can beat, Philly, but we can't beat the Saints. But yeah, I like Shaheed, especially because Olave gets a lot of the doubles. So I think he's going to definitely benefit from that. So great picks. And then, of course, Kate Otten, also solid pick because, with no Mbuka, no Evans, no Godwin, you have a super young wide receiver core now there. So I think Otten being the safety valve, I think Baker's going to really lean on him. So I can see him getting a couple of touchdowns from him. So I love it. Guys, I do appreciate you so much from here, jumping on here. Shannon, Aaron, thank you guys for being here. Aaron, tell the people where they can find you here on the Boom Broadcasting Network.
You can find me on the Gridiron address every Sunday at 7:45 p.m. and also Hoops and Helmets. I believe that premiered today.
Yep.
Myself and Carson Williams were on that Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Always keep an eye out for that on Boom Broadcasting's YouTube channel.
I love it, man. And yeah, the great show, guys. If you haven't checked that out yet, the Hoops and Helmets. The Happy Valley is not very happy right now. So there's a lot going on in Penn State. So that's a lot they talk about. So great show there. And of course, I've been a guest on your show, man. So I love the Gridiron Address. You do a phenomenal job with that on Sundays. So I get Red Zone during the day and Gridiron Address at night. You can't beat that, guys. It's a winning combination here. Check it out. And then my man Shannon, where can they find you?
Before I say that, I just want to say this, echoing Aaron's show, Hoops and Helmets. If Curt Cignati wins the national championship, he'll have the best nickname in all of college football, Sig Natty. You will have that. I call him Daddy Cignati, but Sig Natty championship for Curt Cignati. It won't happen this year, but hopefully it will. But enough of that. Once again, Hoops and Helmets, great show. Gridiron Dress, great show. Sideline Savants, great show. Three from Deep, great show. But catch me on Thursdays, talking Panthers football on the Tobacco Sports Radio's YouTube channel, The Cat Cave. This week's episode is going to be fun because we beat the daggum Cowboys. And I'm going to have fun with that. Me and D are going to have fun with that. That was the game that we prayed for, and we got it. We're going to talk about that, the running back situation. Of course, we're going to talk about that, and that is something that I will say about this running back tandem for the Panthers. And then on Friday, I will be back with quick hits. Got to say goodbye to the WNBA. I know I kind of stretched the truth the last time I said that it won't be about the WNBA. Well, we're going to send the WNBA home and get ready for the NHL. Been watching a good bit of hockey, been taking my notes as I go. So this Friday, I'll close out the WNBA. Next week, I will be going in and talking hockey for the rest of the season. Anything pops up from the WNBA about this CBA that's coming up, I will be talking about it. I will be discussing it. But until Thursday and until Friday, I'm Shannon Smith, and this is Quick Hits.
I love it. Thank you guys so much. Again, guys, if you haven't had a chance, hit that like and subscribe button, man. Jump here on the Boom Broadcasting Network. A lot of great content providers here with Aaron, with my man Shannon. We love y'all. Thank you very much for joining me here Wednesdays at 12 o'clock. Again, you can also check me out on Mondays with Three from Deep. Just had a cool episode with my man Carson, who is also on Hoops and Helmets, who has also been on the Gridiron Address, man. We dedicated a show to talking about the King, LeBron James. So we had a great time on there. So again, join, like, and subscribe. Hit me up if you got any questions, comments, concerns. Throw it on here, man. Send me a message. We'd love to hear from you. And if you got any questions, I'd love to read them on our show here. So thank you guys very much for joining me. Guys, hit that waiver wire hard. Go out there, set your lineups, and let's win week 7. Go out there and get ready. Start making some moves for the playoffs. All right, guys, we'll check you later, man. Peace.